Sorry, Coach, for the opening statement. We'll open up to questions.
Well pitched today and enough defense to hold them scoreless. And when you do that, you're obviously right where you want to be. Strange conditions. Ball was not traveling at all. We actually hit some balls decent today. I know the quality of the at-bat. I'm not going to fool anyone in here. It's not been good enough. We had chances to really try to bust that game open a little bit and did not do it. But Moore was sharp. I thought he threw some of the best cutters we've seen him throw. Got the big double play ball there in the middle part of that outing, which was big. Kinnear, strong, on it, poised, threw with confidence. So those two guys really picked us up, and we pitched well the entire weekend. We really did. And when you look at what we did Wednesday night, and you have two midweek games coming up, you have a doubleheader, you need your starting pitchers to go out there and chew it up, because if they don't, that bullpen is going to be taxed beyond what it's able to handle. So proud of the guys, the way they pitched. Chase Williams, good to see him. The bunts and some of those things, smell you grinded at the plate. Stutzer hit some balls hard and weird. You know, some of the, I think Stutzer ended up with 3 hits, and the one he really stepped on, they ran down, and you have the balls in the sun and the wind. It was strange out there. So we were fortunate to win these games. It's hard to beat somebody 3 times, and I'm really proud of the way we pitched. Micah did a great job of navigating and calling pitches and preparing, and Rob's in our bullpen helping the guys in the bullpen prepare and have a good expectation of who they're seeing when they are going into the ball game. So I thought we were on point, and again, I thought our defense was enough to hold them scoreless. When you do that, you don't have to have a lot offensively. We had some chances maybe to run the bases. Carnes hits the fly ball with the bases loaded, the throw to the plate. The other 2 runners should have advanced. They were there to tag, should have gone. That would have been second and third and 1 out with another chance. And in the games this weekend where there wasn't a lot of just pure firepower, one more run, just the importance of one more run. If you can make that a 3 versus a 2, it's a big deal in these conditions, in these circumstances. So difficult. The at-bats will come. Like, we've seen these guys have really good at-bats against good arms. It'll come. Unfortunately, there wasn't a bulk of it this weekend stacked together. So we'll be okay. But proud of the pitching and proud for the most part of how we defended.
Heard you say in the postgame that Dowd hurt the shoulder a little bit yesterday. How long do you think that is, and how concerning?
Well, he was in batting practice, and it wasn't right. And he did something later in the second game and swung through a pitch, and I think that's what got him. So unusual. You don't see that very often. Yesterday was a long day. The guy ran it off the field 36 times to center field and back. So there's a lot of things going on when you play those 2 games, and later I don't really know what happened. I hope he's okay, but it wasn't the little ailment he had earlier. It was something with the shoulder on the swing. So hopefully he's okay.
We saw Cal play third today. What's your thought process with that? Is more wanting to see him at third or someone else at short?
A little bit of both. Just give Cal a change of scenery, and he seemed to do well there and was comfortable. And Frazier's played a lot of short. We're still working some things out, quite frankly, in the infield. And sometimes a change of scenery maybe can ignite you a little bit at the plate, and we trust him. This team bunts a lot. Nobody's more familiar with the bunt defenses and the other things at third base than him. So we thought it was a good day to try.
Having to run only 2 guys out there on the bump today, how beneficial is that with a Tuesday and a Wednesday, and obviously 19 innings yesterday and a long midweek earlier?
Yeah, huge, like huge. And the starting pitchers go out there once a week. And when you go out there, we need you to bring your A game and lengthen this thing out. So then it's a shorter duration on the back end. Like the starting pitchers, we have trouble in the 3rd or 4th inning. Like it snowballs on you. So that's big. And these are tough midweek games. And we know Mercer's good. We've seen JU; they're a quality team. So this is tough. And then you're right back into another weekend series. So just proud of, number one, the starters, and then the efficiency out of the bullpen. Like, you can't draw it up much better than that. It's not easy, but the guys really did a nice job all around.
When you have an offense that's kind of going through a period like this, 10 hits but just can't get runs across, is it just stake the course or try to force it? Like, how do you kind of kickstart that?
Well, we tried. Chase bunted 4 times in a row and was successful on both of them. It's amazing to watch it, and there's other moments where you're trying to figure out with guys that may not be runners, do you hit and run, or are there other things you try to do to open it up? And I think we hit into 4 double plays today. So we're trying to figure out what's right. And when you've seen these guys have good at-bats, sometimes you don't want to overcook it and take away their natural ability to try to hit. So there's a balancing mechanism I have to find to try to figure out the right way to open this thing up a little bit. We had some at-bats there that were for the taking, and you just need one good one, and it's a whole different outlook with the score and how the game actually feels. So difficult. Brad brought up a good point because we were really frustrated at the end of yesterday. He said the exit velocities, when you look at some of the things that we've done with how the ball's coming off the bat, it's probably not as bad as you feel when you're watching this unfold. But I know, you know, that it has to be better. So guys are pressing, and I think the pitch recognition is the toughest thing to unpack for a hitter. If you don't recognize spin, which tells you where the secondary pitches are going, you see some of the swings and the early awkward outs that we've made. So there's no substitute for just the game at bat experience, and it has been tough, no doubt.
Didn't look like the flags were moving much, but
I don't know the answer. It was bizarre. Like, I've seen a lot of games in this stadium. I don't know that I've seen many where it just felt like it was literally impossible for a ball to leave the stadium. And that ball Carnes hit was hit 107 miles an hour off the barrel, and it hit halfway up the wall, and the guy should have caught it. Stutzer's ball was hit 111 miles an hour, and they ran it down. Putnam's ball was hit 108. Miles' ball was hit 109. I mean, I could kind of go on and on. It just, the high pressure, they tell you when it's a high atmospheric pressure, that kind of holds things down. I think that, combined with the wind feathering in, just made it virtually impossible. And I haven't felt that way in this stadium very often. Now, in South Bend, there were days where you knew that was happening with the wind blowing 25 miles an hour in. That wasn't the case. Just really, really strange. But the conditions and the factors in the game really cancel themselves out, and both teams have to live with it. They struck some balls pretty good too. So then you just hope that you can lean on some good pitching and play clean defense and hold it right where we did.
Touched on Bryson when you start, but after the first two outings that he had, ran into some early trouble. Just for him to settle down today, how big was that?
Huge, and he kept the ball down. Like, the fastball has good life, but when it's up in the middle part of that zone around the belt, that's not where you want it. But it has good plane when it's down, and it's got some carry, and he's got good secondary pitches. He's got 3 good secondary pitches, so it's all in there. And again, I think just comfort in starting and lengthening these things out. I think that's his longest outing, if I'm not mistaken, if I heard right. So he's going to keep learning and growing, and then the other two in front, their effectiveness gives us more options in the bullpen as the weekend unfolds. So he's going to continue to learn and grow.
Is the plan Peyton on Tuesday and Wednesday to be determined?
Well, we've got Peyton and we've got Vaughn. So Peyton was not in play. It may line up for him Tuesday. We haven't gotten quite that far, but if we could hold Vaughn out, then we thought we had 2 guys that were built up with their pitch count to give you legitimate starts if that's the direction we wanted to go. The number one thing was try to get out of here and win this one. So if we needed to use Vaughn today, we would have. It was nice to not have to dip in there.
Is Stokes someone you consider? I know you built him up in the preseason as a guy who was capable of throwing a bit more.
We're trying to find the right moments to get him a little more confidence. And we've seen flashes of brilliance, like flashes of you go on a major league field and pitch in a major league game with no problem at 98 with that slider. It's just the repetitive piece of it for him and the execution of the pitches. So we're trying to figure it out. I don't know that this start is the right thing for him right now. Probably more Manka Vaughn in that world.
Finally saw Trey yesterday make his start. Are you kind of seeing West, Trey, and Bryson be your weekend rotation?
Yeah, that looks right.
Okay.
And Beard did what we thought Beard could do. And he moved that thing around, and you look at the replay of that, some of the breaking balls and the changeups, it's really good. And it's fine to have Bryson on Sunday. We're fine with that. We just need to get those pitch counts up a little bit for Beard more than anyone. But that was good for Bryson today. We're good with that.
You mentioned the play where you guys didn't tag. Was Chef maybe leery because of getting thrown out there before? Or?
Well, he tried to get so creative on the first one, like that's the no-brainer. They were there in position, like they initiated the base running play correctly, but you really are running, you're tagging and running unless they rip the ball and throw it to third base. I don't even know in that situation if they could risk throwing it to third base. So you almost bank on them throwing it to the plate, and like the moment that ball's out of the outfielder's hand, we should have been second or third, no doubt. And they know it. And did the entanglement he created in the first inning lead to a little hesitation? Maybe, but he's a smart enough player. Like he knows that's a no-brain advancement. You're grabbing 2 bags, and then with Frazier up. It's not saying that Frazier's going to hit a sac fly to left, but the fly ball. But it sure is putting more pressure on people.
Any other questions?
Can you talk a little about your perspective of the DH role? We've seen a few people in that position. You move thin ground, kind of seems like.
You just probably explained my perspective. We're trying to find it, and you do have moving pieces there. So if you want to grab 2 or 3 different players at bats, that's really the spot to do it. Nate had good at bats yesterday, and we talked all morning about what the right thing. Polino, we know we need to advance him. He's a talented young hitter, but Nate earned that today. And Carnes rested the second game, so we thought Carnes was good enough to catch. He had good at bats. And Nate banged it around again today. It was good. So he earned that spot. But you do have flexibility in that DH slot if you want to move and do some things throughout the game.